Hello, everyone. My name is Penn, and welcome to my channel. I used to be like you. Used to be a time where I was paying month to month for cable, dealing with expensive fees, forced packages, trying to find an ideal package of the channels that I prefer to watch, and then not overpaying a premium to the company, making someone else rich, but at the same time not benefiting as well as the end user. Now we have alternatives. We have options available on the market that not only makes it easier, but far more streamlined for the non-tech savvy folks to get in, plug and play. That's where the Superbox come in handy. In this video, I will just be previewing, going over the user interface, things of that nature of the new Superbox S7 Pro, which I truly believe is a game changer for your entertainment center. It's intuitive, very easy to use, laid out professionally, and then gets you to your content in no time. This guide will help you get you set up. And then also, before we get into the unboxing and the interface, I'll just be going over some things that you may have not known about this product. Okay, so the big thing with the S7 lineup is going to be the extended 7-day time shift. Of course, that brand new UI that looks very lovely. Going to have your parental controls in place. It is running Android 12, 4 gig of DDR4, 32 gigs of internal storage. You do have some nice voice command features. And probably a noticeable difference as well is the Type-C charging and the USB ports. All right. So all the information will be down in the description, as well as my discount code, to where when you apply that code, you're definitely going to be saving some money. And then, of course, I make some money per sale, just for full transparency. Now, I'm going to get to the unboxing. Get that open. Okay. And the goal here is to see what the new interface layout is and what we can do to get you set up, get this optimized in a timely fashion, right? So these would be the antennas. Pull off that sticker there in the front. Move that over there. All right, so we have an HDMI cable here, which is cool. Show that on camera. Put that there. Got our power accessories. That's cool. Got the remote. And we just have an instruction manual on the S7 Pro. So pretty basic. The packaging has always been a clean, straight to the point layout. There's the logo. And that is all she wrote for that. Now, on the physical device itself, you're going to have a restore right here. You have your USB 3.0, you have your Type-C option, and then you have your TF option for expansion if that's what you're into. Now, on the back, you do have your SPDIF. Most people are going to be using HDMI, especially when it comes to their audio and video. You do have your gigabit LAN capability. You have your IR and AV side right here, and then you have your Type-C connection right here. So pretty streamlined. The Type-C is really the noticeable difference between this year model and last year models, especially. So you're definitely going to be in for a ride with this device. I'm hearing some pretty good things on this. Right, so that is the opening animation of the device. So right off the back, it does look like I'm going to have to make it completely full screen, but they give you a very easy way to do that, so that wouldn't be a problem. So it gives you a disclaimer. So I'm just going to agree. And then here, I'm going to be selecting my Wi-Fi. Right, so got my Wi-Fi. I'm just going to set my screen to 100. That's cool with me. And there we go. So listen, right off the back, the user interface is definitely, it looks like cleaner, slicker, got a little bit of like that soul to it, like just a nice looking user interface. Now they still got the advertisements or the promo all the way to the right side, but that's just basically telling you the coming attractions, things like that, things that's probably already aired depending on when you get the device, but they keep it somewhat updated. I think it's updated weekly. So you have your live TV, your VOD, your playback, browser, app store, and apps. Now, one of the main things that you want to do here is you want to look down at the bottom, right? So you have your gear icon, that's going to be your settings. The folder icon is going to bring in the folder menu. So pretty self-explanatory. Then you have a sweep icon. That's basically cleaning, just showing you right now what it's doing. Now you also have an icon that's sort of like it looks like a speed test icon, but I believe that represents the browser, and it will definitely bring up "Welcome to Chrome." Then you have the trash icon. You can uninstall applications. Then you have a mic icon, which it tells you how to get this remote paired, where you press the OK and the back for 8 seconds into the LED flash and enter an appearance date. Then you press OK. All right. So we can actually do that now, actually, just so we can get that stated. So I'm gonna go into Bluetooth, right? And you want to go to pair new device. So basically it started, it just has to find the available devices. Now previously this can be a bit finicky. Sometimes it's instant, sometimes it's not. All right, so that took a little bit longer than expected. It's going to be the RC200. So that's just going to make it to where the remote is basically Bluetooth. So that's better connectivity. You'll find that more useful in your workflow or in your environment. Much more smoother. All right. Now let's go back to this screen down below, options. We have like this keyboard icon. That's going to be like quick access when it comes to your applications. And then you also have sort of like the help desk icon. That's going to be to where you get your customer service online. Now, as a security professional, I usually don't recommend you just randomly scan, QR codes. But here it is clearly stated there's online support, it's WhatsApp customer service and email customer service. And it also gives you generally where to contact them. Once again, I do want to prioritize your safety in this case, but this is where you can get in touch for help if you need it. All right. Now, the big thing with this is that these are advertised as fully loaded devices, and technically that's correct. You have to do the loading yourself. Typically, these devices don't come with pre-installed applications. They do have an app store for a reason and a disclaimer. So let's go to the App Store, and what you want is the green icon, not the Play Store. So we're gonna click on that, and then you have to install it. Then it turns blue. Look at that disclaimer. Go in. Okay, so think of this App Store like a kid in a candy store, where you have some options, to play with, things like that. Now, when it comes to the Superbox and what you're going to be paying for when it comes to their new premium features, you're going to want to get the blue apps. The blue apps are going to be what you see in the front row. Blue VOD, and I believe when you get these installed, they're automatically mapped to the categories on the front page, like live TV, VOD, for example, playback. So they're locked and loaded, ready to go. And then you have your backup TV. Now, also, just keep in mind, get your Prime applications downloaded as well, because these are going to be your backup applications. Um, this is also what's going to separate some of the older Superbox models to the newer Superbox models, and they keep these applications up to date. And the App Store just gives you some options to play with. So I recommend that you go in here and see what works for you, see what fits your agenda, and then you go from there. All right, so we're back at the home screen in this case. Let's add the applications just so they could be easy. And then here we can do, let's do that. All right. Then let's add in the VOD there. Let's add in the playback function there. And then let's have an option for the backup. So everything's laid out, definitely. And this is how they're categorized. So VOD, Blue TV, playback, and backup TV. All right, so this is the playback application. I do have the Superboss logo in the recording, just so I don't the AI doesn't raise any potential flags, but this is just the playback. I mean, it's going to play back like recordings, things that they have in their cloud server, things like that. Every single channel isn't supported, but it's 86. It's a decent amount. So between your locals, between like your sports, and then just some other channels like news, for example, you should be able to come in here and then have an opportunity to view what you have missed. And then with the extended time shift for 7 days, that's officially supported on some channels in the live TV app, you should be good from there also. So you sort of have like your own personal DVR with this thing, which is cool and unique at the end of the day. All right, so this is the video on demand app. So this is going to have like it's laid out lovely. You have your recommended, your newest, and then movies, TV series, settings, and then you can come in here and get your video on demand viewing on. So pretty nice. So what's cool is that when you go into the official live TV app, the Blue app, you get a TV remote guide, and you can add remove channels to favorite list into full screen mode. And then it even gives you an option just to see some more stuff. EPG, search, change, switch. So next you have the time shift settings, and then not every channel has time shift support, but you can rewind, fast forward, play, pause. So anytime, and you're free to pause this, but anytime you actually receive this device and you need some guidance, you can have it to where it don't show you again, and it would be available in the settings, or it can remind you later. And then you can always have like that visual reference when you're using this type of device. Okay. Okay, so this is the official live TV app. And once again, I do have my logo in a way so that you're not seeing anything you're not supposed to see. But you guys guessed the drift though, right? And this user interface, with the icons, it looks very clean. And this is the time shift section. So they made it easy. So if you want to have like your own personal 7-day extended DVR, this is what's supported. It's 122 channels. On top of the playback feature, you're not going to miss anything unless you're literally like sleeping under a rock. And, these are the breakdowns, and you get your EPG. And then for you sports lovers, that's all good there. So, yeah, just showing you everything possible. And once again, if you need to know how to use the time shift, it did show you before you got into the live TV, and then it's always available in the settings for your visual reference. All right. All right. So that about wraps up like this introduction video. I showed you as much as I could in terms of like what the user interface is looking like, and then what each application can provide you. Backup TV is just going to be a mixture of everything. It's a backup television. Um, that is a part of the blue package. However, like I told you, get as many applications from the App Store as you can installed, because those are going to be your backup to a backup. You're mainly going to be using your blue apps, and then if you need to, you have your backup applications to serve you for your household, things like that. All right. So if you have any questions, let me know. All information will be down in the description. And until next time, peace out. Thank you for watching and take care. Goodbye.